All righty. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Today we are doing the marketing career cluster session of the GPS for Success virtual career fair. Thank you again for coming. This event was made possible through the hard work, dedication, and collaboration of WPBS, Jefferson Lewis and St. Lawrence Lewis BOCES, the Workplace, the Watertown Chamber of Commerce, Jefferson County Economic Development, and through the support of our excellent sponsorships with Northern New York Community Foundation and Africa Tech, who are the makers of AminoMax. A very special thanks to Jefferson Lewis BOCES and, of course, Eli Stawicki for making this virtual career fair a reality. I am very happy that we could join us today. I see some names that we've had before, so thank you again for coming. I appreciate your dedication to finding out what you want to do and exploring a bunch of different career options. My name is Celeste, and I am the Education Services Manager over at WPBS. You've probably seen my face quite a lot if you've been attending any sessions. I'm going to be your host and moderator for this session. What that means is I'm here to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. Your panelists for today's session are Ricky Lenhart from Otis Technology and Joseph Wesner, who is from Coughlin. So here is how today's session will work. Each panelist will be sharing different career options and possibilities in the marketing career cluster. And as you'll notice, marketing is everywhere. It's in every single business and organization that you can find. You got to get your name out there. You got to have some sort of marketing plan. So you'll hear a little bit more about that today. And they're going to share their knowledge, expertise, and information, and some of their stories about how they've come into marketing and what they use and do with marketing. So please make sure that you are paying attention just in case you have a question. On the topic of questions, if you do have one, once a panelist has finished, we will have a short Q&A session before moving on to the next panelist. You can ask questions about the presentation using the Q&A panel right over on the right-hand side here. You're going to notice a little bar that says Q&A. If you click on that, type in your question. The moderator, myself, will ask that question to our panelists. So please make sure that if you are typing in a question, try to do it during the presentation when you have it, and we'll answer it at the end of the presentation. There's also an option called raise your hand. If the question you would like to ask is better asked verbally. This is for detailed questions that you think you need to explain a little bit if you have a more specific question. So in order to do this, you need to raise your hand. If you look on the bottom of the screen, you're going to see a little bar. If you roll your mouse over it, there's going to be a button with 3 dots. If you click on that, you'll see the raise your hand option. That will notify me as the host, and I will let our panelists know. You will then be unmuted. You can ask your question, and then you'll be muted again. So that is how you're going to interact with WebEx events and this session. After you've met all our panelists and the session ends, make sure that you check out mygpsforsuccess.com to learn more about the 16 different career clusters, including marketing. So we are going to get started. Our first panelist is going to be Joseph Wesner from Coughlin. And whenever you're ready, take it away.
What if I'm not ready?
Well, I'm throwing it over to you anyway, so.
All right. Just checking. Okay, good morning. I'm Joseph Wesner. I'm the Assistant General Manager here at Coughlin Printing Group in Watertown. We are commercial printers in the area. We also work with advertising products for restaurants, and we do websites as well. We create, maintain, and do all the things that are necessary to make a website successful. What I want to talk to you about in marketing is a subject that I'm pretty well versed at in the marketing area. First of all, to describe marketing is putting your name out there so that when people are ready to buy, they think of you first. For instance, if I mention a soda, if I say, do you want a soda? You have a name in your head right now. What kind of soda you want? Everybody has that. You know, there's also psychological tests where they ask people what their favorite flower is. So if I say to you right now, what's your favorite flower? Don't say it out loud. But I'm going to guess that 90 to 95% of you have rose in your head. And that's just because everybody thinks of a rose because a rose is the best known flower. It's like, or the Mona Lisa is supposed to be one of the best paintings of the world. It's not necessarily the best painting in the world, but it is the most famous painting in the world. I say Mona Lisa, you know what it looks like, and you know I'm talking about great art. So this is what marketing does. That's kind of like a big overview of it. But what I want to talk about is really building your network of people that you talk to. We all, most people nowadays are pretty good at this. They just don't know that they're good at it. Part of marketing is building a network of people that you can resource, that you can talk to, that you can build relationships with in order to sell them a product later. And that's really what marketing is starting that discussion off and getting the conversation going and building a relationship with people. So if I want to build a relationship with you and I don't know you and I have a product to sell, I'm going to start talking to you on radio. And then I'm going to start talking to you with a mailing or something, or I'm going to talk to you on Facebook, or I'm going to talk to you in a whole bunch of different ways to get an ad so that you can see it. And then you contact me and then I continue the relationship from there. And like I said, pretty much everybody who's on this right now is probably an expert marketer, but you don't know it. Because if you have a Facebook page and if you have over 100 people who are friends on your Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, your TikTok, whatever, you are marketing. That is building your core. You're building a relationship with these people who are interested in what you are doing. If you look at TikTok, my daughters are big into TikTok. And I have a friend who's becoming very successful on it. She has 1 million views of her TikTok videos right now. So over time, she's put out videos and she's built a relationship with the people that says, my videos are entertaining because of this. You like my videos because they entertain you in this way, so you're going to continue to watch them. So she has this great big audience. And now with that many views and with that many people involved, she can start to talk to them about the things that she wants to talk to them about. She still wants to entertain them, but now she can switch it up. And that's pretty much what I work on doing a lot of. Um, I do a lot of network marketing, and that is going to meetings, talking with people face to face, business after hours, coffee and connections, all kinds of things. And now I'm part of a group, a networking group that is everywhere. If anybody in business goes to any event, there's at least 5 of us from this networking group there. So I have this core of people that I work with who know other people that I don't know. So if I say I have a new product coming out, I can take it to my network of people and share it with them and say, this is my new product. What do you think of it? Is it a good product? Do you know anybody who could use this product? And they'll send me back what's called a referral. And referrals are amazing because now it's a friend of a friend told me about this. Similar to social media, where if you see a TikTok or a Snapchat or something that you like, you tell all your friends decide to go and check that out. And so now you have expanded the reach of that one video that you saw. So that's kind of what I'm doing with the network marketing. And that's a big part of network of marketing altogether, is to get that core group that likes you, that trusts you, and that you can work with to get referrals from people that they know for what you have so that you can make sales later. It's not about making the sale right now. It's about actually making the sale down the road somewhere, building that relationship so they trust you so that they do it. And that's all I have to say about that, unless there's a lot of questions. So that's my presentation.
So as our attendees who have been here probably know, I always have lots and lots of questions. I don't see any in the Q&A now, but we might have some in a little bit. So one question for me is, how did you get to this position? How did you get where you are?
Well, my background is actually in restaurants. I spent about 30 years working in restaurants. So I learned about cross promotions, which is working with other companies and businesses to, like, if my people do something good, they get a gift certificate from your business. If your people do something good, they get like a free pizza from my business, that kind of thing. So I learned how to do that. And then over time, I realized that you can't market a restaurant inside the restaurant. You can do good service, you can do all that stuff. This is way before the internet, so you only had word of mouth over telephones and stuff. It wasn't as easy to get a Yelp review as it is now. So I learned that you have to go out and you have to tell people that you're there and what you do. So I started going to chamber events. I started going to every chance I could to showcase the restaurant. Even job fairs. Job fairs to me isn't as much about getting an employee as it is about telling all the other businesses about my business. So I started doing that for them, and I became the face, if you will, for every restaurant that I worked at. Mainly because nobody else likes to be up front. I don't know. But yeah, so I learned a little bit about marketing from that, and then when I switched to working here, one of the things that I was tasked with was getting a marketing program together and putting together, you know, a program because we didn't have one. We've been around for 130 years and we've only had a marketing program for 6. So I didn't know how to do marketing. I only knew that bit of it. So I've been reading a lot of marketing books. If anybody's interested, I really suggest Duct Tape Marketing by John Jasich. He's amazing. He's got some really good tips. But yeah, I've gone through all of that. I'm working on my copywriting skills. I'm working on my networking skills, and just trying to put everything together I can to make this marketing work. And so as I kept doing it, I realized I was better at network marketing than I was at, say, putting together a flyer or a postcard. So I just keep going out there and talking to people and being upfront and being there and just telling people, hey, we're here, we have stuff. If you're interested, let me know. I can hook you up with people. And then also, one of the things that's come from it is something that I like to call I know a guy marketing, but it's that referral marketing. I know a guy. If you need something, I probably know somebody who does it or know somebody who knows somebody who does it. And that could be for anything.
So it sounds like marketing can be, like you said, network or referral marketing, but you can also have like the flyers and like what we do at WPBS. We have flyers and on-air promos and a lot of the physical marketing. So it sounds like there's 2 aspects to it.
Yeah, it's just one part of the whole. It's just, you've got to play to your strengths. You guys do a really good job with your marketing. I love your postcards. So you do really good with that, and also, that your demographic, the people that you're trying to reach, respond to this better than they do to that. And with what we do, we've figured that we found out that people do better through the network marketing than we do if we send a postcard. Because for some reason, printers, when they send postcards, they don't do as well as if anybody else sends a postcard. It's the strangest thing. We don't know. But yeah, you go through, you build your profile of who your ideal customer is, and then you figure out the best way to reach them. And we found that referral marketing and just doing this network marketing is one of the best ways we found to reach people.
Excellent. What would you say the most challenging part of your profession is, and what the best part of your profession is?
Well, the most challenging part of the marketing is timing, because you really need to be right there when people need what you have. And if you come up with a new product and you're like, oh, this is going to fill this need, you need to be right there at the right time to do it. So that's a real challenge. Like, for instance, with all this stuff going on with the COVID, we have a couple of products that are specific to that. So we need to hit now. We can't hit it tomorrow. Yesterday might have been better, but we have to hit it today. So there's that kind of thing. But then you've got the overall picture of you need to be top of mind for people. So we need to be the person somebody thinks about when they want to do printing. But right now, if you think about printing, you think Staples, you think Vistaprint, because they're the ones that have the TV commercials and they're really well known. So getting our name out there and being top of mind for people, being the first name that they think of, is a totally different thing.
Great.
The best is when it works out well. It's something. Sorry, somebody interrupted me. I have people coming in my door. But the best part of it is when it works, and you're like, "Dang, that worked. That was great." Because I think it was J.C. Penney said, that he didn't know that what 50% of his marketing was doing, but he didn't know which 50% was good. So, I mean, we have a lot more analytics now for some things, but still, you don't really know what's working until it does. So you can come up with all these plans and say this worked for that, that worked for this, but it might not work for the one you have now. So, a lot of times it's rolling the dice and hoping.
What would you tell a middle school, high school student who is thinking about going into marketing?
If you're thinking about going into marketing, a couple of things, you're going to hear a lot about going into graphic design and things like that. Those are helpful, knowing design. It really depends on whether or not you have a team where you go or not. If you're a single person, knowing graphic design is going to be very helpful. Just knowing how people look at things is helpful too, from the graphic design part. But also learn to know how people work. Like sociology, psychology, things like that. Learn those aspects, because learning about people is what this is all about.
Now, what kind of education do you need with that? Can you go in right out of high school with a high school degree, or should you get an associate's or a bachelor's degree?
That's a really good question. I do not have a degree in marketing. Some people I know do not have degrees in marketing, but it's also helpful to get in the door. So if you're really good at it, if you get out of high school and you have, a couple thousand followers on your YouTube channel, your social media has all these kinds of people on it, and you're actually being effective in reaching people, then, if you're interested in marketing, you may be able to intern or get into a low-level position in a company that has a marketing department, and then work your way up as you learn. But you are going to need to learn the basics of it. So, going in with it, at least an associate's degree is probably more helpful.
Great, thank you. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A. If you do have a question, make sure that you use the Q&A on the right-hand side or raise your hand and we will unmute you and you can ask your question verbally. If you do have a question for him later, you can always write it in the Q&A and we can ask it later, or you can contact me and we can get you in touch. But thank you so much, Joe. I think we're going to move on to Ricky now. Any last word or parting words?
No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to mute you now and unmute Ricky. And whenever you're ready.
Hey, guys. Well, I think Joe covered everything. I don't need to say anything now. So, well, Meadow's with us again. She listened to my spiel last Tuesday, I believe. So I'll try not to repeat myself too much. But I'm Ricky, and I work in the marketing department for Otis Technology. I'm the graphic design manager. So to Joe's point, I'm more on the graphic side, was where I started with marketing and excuse me. My first steps in marketing actually was when I was attending Mohawk Valley Community College. I actually interned in their marketing department, and that was a really great experience. If anyone is interested in marketing, I would recommend interning. To Joe's point, yeah, you can teach yourself and you can develop your own following, but with any skills, it's always good to mentor under somebody, to learn from experience. There's no point in failing 100 times when you can have someone else explain to you what you don't want to do. Is always good. So like I said, I'm more in the graphic design end of things. I do a lot of stuff from package design to, display design, trade show graphics. I travel to Las Vegas every year. We have a big 80 by 40 booth in the Sand Center at Vegas. It's 2 stories tall, and I have the privilege to design that every year. That's a very fun experience. And to the marketing side of that, you need to really understand, like in trade show graphics, what is the customer looking at? If something's 2 feet tall, you're not going to want to have critical information all the way up at the top of it in small 12-point font. No one's going to be able to read it. So you kind of, in that example, you want to design things to grab people's attention from across the convention center. So, we work with big, bold colors like yellow with our logo. We have really exciting graphics and imagery up high that can draw people in, and the closer you get to the booth, the more detailed everything is down on the foot level. So yeah, you just gotta understand how people are going to be looking at things. You know, an interesting challenge that we have is social media marketing. Unfortunately, the industry I'm in is a little hampered. You know, we work with firearms and a lot of our imagery involves that, and it's a challenge because right now that isn't as popular in current culture, so we get suppressed a little bit. You know, and on that note, we make cleaning kits. So really, we're the chore of the industry. So how do you make cleaning something exciting? You know, let's talk about dusting your house. I'm sure you really want to do that. So you know, we found you know, avoiding imagery of firearms is a good thing. But how do you sell the product that uses the clean a firearm without showing the firearm? Very difficult. Things that have worked for us in marketing, I've learned, is you know, everyone's attention span is about 2 seconds, especially when they're on social media. So you want to be impactful immediately, and a lot of times sound isn't available. Everyone looks at things on their phone with the sound off for the most part. So you can't rely on that. So we've developed a couple good formulas where we'll have quick moving graphics on, again, our bright trademark yellow colors. And we'll try to catch people's attention with motion as they're going through their feed. You know, if you're going through your Facebook feed and everyone's just photo, and now you have fast moving objects and you know, cool imagery popping up, you might stop and look at it. And that's all you really need, is just to stop them for a few seconds to get them interested enough to learn more. Same idea with packaging. You know, we had a big issue with our packaging in the past being being an info dump and hiding a lot of the information on the back. You know, there's only so much room on a package to display on a shelf. You really need to be able to catch your customers' attention as they're walking by without even them picking up the product. You want them to see it and know what it is. And at that point, you know, you have all your finer details on the back. But the real struggle is always getting the customer to stop and look at your product. I don't know how many times you've been to the grocery store and if you walk down the soup aisle, and I don't know if you've seen wild rice and chicken dumpling soup stand out across all the other soups on the shelf. But, you know, what catches your eye? If you're a health conscious person, you know, greens and ironically like craft paper textures do really well. Big, bold images of vegetables, that will catch the health conscious person's attention over maybe just the generic white and red Campbell's soup can. Even though probably when you get down to it, they're essentially the same soup. But you want to identify your target market and know what they're interested in and looking for, and then aim your product more towards that. How you do that, you can do focus groups. Fortunately, like I said, I travel a lot to you know, different venues, and I get to talk to our customer base a lot. So you get to really understand what is interesting to your customer base instead of just what's interesting to you too. And that can be a struggle in marketing as well, and in graphic design, if I want to say. Everyone has their own personal opinions on what looks good and what doesn't. But really, when you get down to the brass tacks, there's certain things that are effective, and you got to get your ego aside a little bit and do things that will work versus do things that you want to do. I'm off on some tangent now. I don't know. What else? So, you know, I do a lot of videography. I think if you're in the marketing department, it's important to be a jack of all trades a little bit if your team isn't large, as Joe spoke to. Fortunately, I have another designer that works with me, and that's been a big boon. I didn't always have Mark on the team, but you know, it's important to be able to understand at least a little bit how to accomplish what you're going for. I by no means I'm not a professional photographer or a cameraman, but I've learned a lot on the job, and it's been critical for us to have those skills internally to produce what we do. You can't always spend all your marketing budget on hiring a high-end ad agency to shoot all your footage for you. It's just not, you're not going to have the results with the money spent that you're looking for. With us, it's more about being flexible on a smaller budget, and we usually spatter out multiple ideas and kind of, like, I'll do a video and I'll do the video 5 different ways, and we'll send that out onto Facebook, and we'll see what are we getting engagement on, like what video is making people stop, and then we'll take that and we'll do some variations on that, and we'll put that back out. So you can kind of A/B test your marketing. So you can't be married to ideas in marketing, I guess is what I'm getting at. You got to be willing to spread out and try different ideas and dabble in what's working and what isn't. Yeah, I don't know. Marketing.
I was thinking when you were saying this too, we were talking before we started the session. Your day's a little crazy today. So could you describe a marketing day and what's different about today?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of times, I've mentioned in the past, as the marketing department, we're generally the last people to actually see a product. You know, maybe our engineers will come up with an idea for a new product and they'll be designing it, and I'll see drawings and pictures of it. So I'll start working on my part. And then sales gets involved and they're like, oh, it's too expensive. We're going to have to change this to that. And by the time it gets to my desk, we're no longer looking at, you know, a ballpoint pen. Now we're looking at a computer mouse. The product has totally changed, and I've worked on something this way, and now I got to switch gears and do it that way. So that's always a challenge, is always being handed something last second, and then now you're responsible, and now you're the bottleneck to get the marketing collateral, the images, everything you need to actually sell the product out the door and on time. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. You know, and if you're looking to stay local, you're probably going to run into some issues like I'm having right now, where, you know, we're a relatively small department and we have a small sales force for a kind of a very large, I'll say a large company. We're classified as a small business, but we're hustling. You know, we might not always have all the employees in the factory that we need to actually produce products. So you got to be willing, I guess this goes for any job, to go outside your comfort zone and do things that aren't necessarily part of your job description. So I spent the better part of this morning filling 4-ounce bottles with hand sanitizer and screwing caps on, but that's just what you got to do. And, you know, those are always great experiences to get into operations and manufacturing, to see, you know, maybe there's something you could be doing different on your end of marketing. You know, maybe a label's not looking quite right, or, you know, I didn't realize this looked this way on the product because I'm only seeing it in renderings and mock-ups on my end. So it's always good to get involved with the production side of things to really to see how you could affect that and make big changes on the bottom line. I work with our operations and manufacturing all the time to try to problem solve to keep costs down and quality up. So those are just great skills to have and to be flexible. I don't know if I answered your question at all, Celeste.
Great, you absolutely did. No, that was very, very enlightening on a bunch of different things, because I didn't know. Usually with marketing, you think, well, if you have a conception of an idea, you should get marketing involved right away. But you're really the last ditch effort for it.
Oh, yeah, generally the last person to be have any say on things. So.
Now, one more question for my personal curiosity. Did you design the Otis logo and branding, or was that previously designed?
I did not design this logo, no. This actually happened about a year before I came on board. I've been with Otis for 4 years now. Mm-hmm. Joe's probably seen our older logos. He's probably had some phone calls of why gradients weren't printing certain colors. Gradients are a mess. Pro tip, if you're going to be a graphic designer or marketer, just don't use gradients. You don't want them. They're just but no, I didn't do this. But I was, you know, I headed up all of our rebranding efforts. You know, we've went through some image changes. Before we were kind of like the homegrown, you know, backdoor kind of mom and pop kind of look. And now, with the new logo, it's a little more industrial and edgy. And we've really tried to bring that to the forefront. So, we had issues with our packaging. We'll go right back to marketing. A lot of our product and packaging was tan to begin with. And guess what color shelves are in stores? Tan. And so you're just essentially camouflaging your product on a shelf. So how do we get around that? Well, we played around with different colors. We had different ideas. And I looked at some of our old packaging back when, the company was just a baby back in the 80s, and we had yellow packaging. And I was like, hey, we've been yellow before. Let's bring yellow back. Yellow is a big, bold color. There's not a lot of people in our industry that primarily use yellow as a color. One of our competitors is orange. So, they're probably the brightest color out there apart from yellow. So how do you compete with orange? It's like, let's play with yellow. So I'll turn my camera. So we pretty much redesigned all of our products to be yellow, and we build, I don't know if you can kind of see that, or I got displays over here, but trying to build a wall of yellow, because nothing says stop and look at me when you're walking through a store like a 6-foot wall of yellow. So, oh, we're losing you. Hold on, people. Gravity.
Oh, goodness.
So those are some challenges. Yeah, I helped with the rebranding, and it was, again, to how do you stop people in stores? Because, everyone has their preferences, and everyone has blinders on. When you're walking down an aisle, you don't even know what you're looking at. So you've probably walked by 100 products that would have changed your life, and you just didn't stop because they didn't have the right pack.
Well, great. Thank you. That was some really wonderful insight on that. I don't see any questions in the Q&A, so we have a surprise panelist. Tracy Jericho is going to be our next panelist, and she's going to talk about the VizCom program at BOCES. So, Tracy, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I am the Director of Career and Technical Education at Jefferson Lewis BOCES, and we have a number of programs in Watertown and also in Lowville that juniors and seniors can attend. And one of them is visual communications. So I've been hopping sort of in and out of these sessions and listening, and what a great talk Joe and Ricky are giving to us about marketing. And so I wanted to just mention about the visual communications program. We have one offered on either campus, and it's a really great way to start that career if you're interested in a career in marketing, graphic design, web design, anything like that. It provides you with sort of the basic kinds of things that you need, like color theory and how to use certain of the software that the professionals use. And we have an agreement with Mohawk Valley Community College, so students who start into that program get a little bit of advantage when they go there. And it's a project-based approach. So when you're learning these basic things, you're creating a logo for yourself. You're designing a cereal box for a made-up cereal that you're coming up with. And you get to do internships at local businesses when you're a senior, where you spend a significant amount of time with them, learning a little more about what it's like to be in that career. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's a really fantastic program. And if you have more questions, I'm happy to answer. If you're interested in that, you should talk to your school counselor, or you could give us a call. And I think the information for that is also available on GPS for Success. If you're clicking around in there, you'll be able to click on information to learn more about our programs. Okay, I talked really fast, and that's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Tracy. And what she did say is true. On mygpsforsuccess.com, BOCES and our website and our platform are kind of back and forth with each other. So anything you can find for BOCES and the programs you can find for BOCES will be listed on My GPS for Success. And also GPS for Success is listed on BOCES. So we're really good in making sure that we direct students to the right place. So I'm going to wrap up this session here. I don't see any Q&A. If you do have a question, please make sure to type it in really quick before I end the session. Again, I'm going to direct you to mygpsforsuccess.com. If you use the link that you used to register, you can leave us feedback about something you liked about this, maybe more of what you wanted to see in a career fair, and any other information that you want to share with us. I am going to encourage you to join our next session, which is at 12. And this is our STEM session, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have Purcell Construction is going to be on there. We have zookeepers and the conservation educator from the Thompson Park Zoo is going to be on there. So if you're interested in animals or zoo work or what goes into that, definitely check that out. And we also have SUNY ESF, the Ranger School, which is in Wanakena, New York. I've driven past there a few times. It is tucked away in the woods, but it is an awesome program. So I hope you can join us for that. Thank you so much to all of our panelists who took time out of their day to talk to some students and really support GPS for Success. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure the students appreciate it. Hopefully we have interested you in joining marketing. It seems like a very versatile career path, and you can take it in whatever direction you want. So please consider that, and please join us for our further sessions today. Today is the last day, so make sure you check out the rest of our sessions. But thank you so much again, and please stay safe and healthy. Take care, everybody.